What's up, everybody? Mech-Hop Mondays, episode 57. This week we got Mr. Dack Janiels.
What up?
You know what it is.
You know what it is.
Absolutely.
For those of you that don't know Dack Janiels, Dack, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a Los Angeles-based producer. I'm the founder of 40 Ounce Cult, a label, imprint, and merch line. And yeah, I've been making dubstep for fucking like
Your
7
whole
years.
life.
Since I was a kid, dude.
from the womb.
He actually
Yeah, dude, I
invented
started
dubstep.
producing when I was like in middle school. No, I'm just kidding.
That was basically me, though. I think it was, maybe it was freshman year or something like that. It was
Yeah, I think
either
I was like
freshman
15,
or
16
sophomore.
when I started, but
Yeah.
that's me.
If I lived in the States, it would have technically been high school, but because grade 9 was middle school for me, I could still say I was middle school.
Yeah. You damn Canadian. Terry Eaton, what's up? So far we got B-Raff in the chat, we got Foxchild in the chat, we got Terry Eaton. Looking good so far. Oh, somebody's got the feedback going on there.
Yeah, I don't think it's me. Mine's muted. Scott.
Definitely me.
Immediate crotch shot.
All right, we'll try again next week. So yeah, what you been up to, Scott?
Not much, man. Just working on music. This is actually a pretty hard semester of school, but like I feel like I do better under stress. It's kind of weird. Like the tunes I've been making, I'm pretty happy with lately. So it's almost like last semester was so relaxed and like you take your free time for granted, and now like that I'm in like some like really hard marketing courses. Like I'm in marketing metrics right now, and I mean it's hard for me because I suck at math, but it's pushing me to like use what like the time I have to produce a lot more effectively, and I'm pretty happy with what I've been doing. So
I think that's cool for people to hear too. Like, it is possible to fucking do this and pursue an education too. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. I think it's actually like I've become more self-aware about it too, because like I thought more free time equal like better like productiveness, but like in reality I work better when I'm more on like a schedule and I like plan ahead for my like, production days and stuff. It's nice. So I guess that's a tip, like maybe find your routine, and if it works for you then roll with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hell yeah.
Kuro just joined the chat.
What have you been up to, Colin? It's the recoil and subject show. You gotta fucking give an update.
Yeah, just the same old, man. Just working on music and getting everything sorted out, trying to figure out what the next release with 40 Ounce Cult is gonna be.
Yeah, here we go.
I have a bunch of stuff in the cut right now, and I'm just working on more and more stuff. So, like I said, it's pretty much just that, just music work day by day. And I have like 10, somewhere between 10 and 15 tracks right now that I just got to figure out what the hell I'm doing with.
Yeah.
Stagger the release and get everything out and show people.
You're sitting on some fire. Like I didn't realize until I saw the playlist like the other day just how much you've been sitting on now.
Yeah,
like, I did, but now I see the number.
Yeah, and then there's stuff outside of that that's like close to being done, and then there's other stuff that like I've already started up and are kind of coming along already. Should be a good year. I think it's gonna be a really good year.
Sweet. Oh yeah, man.
Banking on it.
Dude, I definitely think it will be. Your stuff it's cool because like you're evolving like stylistically, but like it still sounds like you. It's like it's more akin to like when a rapper like tries new beats and stuff, but they still have their voice. It's like you still have your robot boy rapping, but
yes, that's the idea, man.
Yeah, no, everything sounded fucking really clean, dude. I'm hyped.
Thank you, dude. I'm trying to evolve, trying to level up constantly. You know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Seriously though, like, I don't know. It's easy to get like upset with your own music. I feel like if you're like a hypercritical person like me, like I just felt like I needed to switch it up. You know, like the music needs something new if you're gonna keep entertaining the followers you have and get new ones and everything. So that's definitely been a huge focus of mine, is just evolving the sound. I don't want to stay on the same shit all the time. Like obviously it's going to be thematically robotic, but beyond that, I just wanted evolving and pushing it forward as much as possible.
That's why I like writing so much random different, like I'll even go and like just make beats for a day or make house music. Like I've been writing a lot of like bassline house on the side right now just for fun.
Yeah.
And this shit's so much fun. It's like no stress. It's like I don't have an obligation to make the best fucking house song. So it's like, I mean, I'm trying to still make a good house song, don't get me wrong, but like it's almost like this weight is lifted off your shoulders of like, damn, I don't have to like appeal to please everyone. I don't even have to do this under Dack Janiels. I can, you know what I mean? Just do whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's also one of those things too that like we've all been in it so long now that like I've been trying to make our own sound for so long now that like we're so critical on ourselves when we're trying to be ourselves almost. Whereas like when you're trying something completely different, like house, as you just said, like you still want to always have a piece of you in your music, but it brings back that like fresh like feeling when you're trying to find that sound initially.
Yeah.
You know, so like we've been into dubstep so long now that we know what we like to hear and what we like to make. So when you try different stuff, it kind of breaks you out of that loop a little bit, which is nice.
It's always good to have that though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh,
shout out to Kilobyte in the chat, Kyle, gang.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Kyle is that boy. He's been killing it lately, dude. He's been doing awesome with the Midnight Kids stuff, and then Kilobyte just got a sign on Monster Cat.
Yeah, I see it popping off.
Yes.
Awesome.
Congrats on that Monster Cat signing. I just saw that too.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Darkscape in the chat. Darkscape is the boy.
Yeah, Darkscape. So you guys fucking hit Apex yet?
I tried, dude.
Storm. It's pretty fun. I'm not that good.
I do not gravitate towards the Battle Royale genre, but if I were to play anyone, it would definitely be that one.
I just love the Battle Royale movie back in the day.
I don't think I ever saw it.
You've never seen Battle Royale? It's like the best Japanese movie, dude.
No, I don't think
it's about this class of like private school kids who get thrown onto an island. Like they said they're going on a field trip, and they drop them all on an island with a rain of weapons. So like one kid gets like a fucking AK, and one girl gets like a fan, and she's blind. So like they all have to fight to the death, and they have these collars that explode if they don't play. That's really sick. It's like
so cool.
It's like Quentin Tarantino's like one of his biggest inspirations or whatever. I think I read.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't like Battle Royale either. Generally, like for a video game, but I do like the stuff it's inspired from, and I understand the hype. The only reason why this one stands out for me so much is like I'm a huge Titanfall fan, so like you got the like gunplay from Titanfall, and then like I really love Overwatch style games, and like the only one that's
it has that vibe for sure. I never played Titanfall, but this to me it just felt like a crisper Call of Duty Blackout.
Yeah, exactly, man. I never played Call of Duty Blackout, so I have a little bit of, I guess, a biased opinion because like I love Titanfall and I love the like class-based games, but yeah, I could never get into PUBG, and then like Fortnite, I wanted to get into, but like it just like the building aspect, people got so good at it that like I didn't want to just get murked. I'm such a sore loser.
I'm not gonna lie, I got mad addicted to that game. Not like it's some people like spending hell of money on it, but like there was a point where like I didn't play anything else. It was just like Fortnite. It was just so much fun, and I don't really know why. There has to be some aspect there, dude. Like there's some subliminal shit.
I think it's even similar to Apex in the way that like it's just like once you win one game and like you're on a roll that day, you just want to keep running it. And it's like so easy to just get yourself to hop back into a game, and like you want to get better and everything.
My problem is I get too high. I get like super high, and then I'll just sit there and be like you said, obsessed with winning. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I have a tough time with the battle royale games, dude. Like, I feel like I jump into Rocket League where it's like you are the action 100% of the time, you know. Like in battle royale, you're like running around picking stuff up, and like you see the kill feed, like a few kills come down and everything, and like you can go literally like 15 minutes without seeing anybody, with no kind of action and stuff like that. And sometimes for me, it's like I've been playing for like an hour. I've seen like 4 people. Like,
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. I mean, like you might get it because if you know my song Silent Hill, but like I grew up playing like those shits a lot, like the long survival horror ones and shit. So the new Resident Evil was pretty much like, I think that for me was like the best game I could have ever had in my entire life.
Dude, that game's sick. Fuck.
Do you play it?
I've only played like the demo, and I want to fucking buy the actual game, but like just from what I've played and like what I've seen, it looks incredible.
I got back from like a 2-show weekend, and I sat home on a Sunday at like 9 a.m. and I just played it through. Like literally did not. I was like, fuck, I haven't done that since I was like a little kid. You know what I mean? Just sat and fucking ran it.
That's amazing when you find games like that. But just glue you to the seat.
Shout out to Kuro. He just said him and Sluggo got some shit to send my wife for 40 ounce. If you guys don't know Kuro, he's a sick ass producer from Baltimore, and he's released some stuff with us.
oh,
Terry Eaton said Battle Royale movie Hunger Games 1. You guys been playing Life is Strange 2 from B-Wrath.
yeah, I never played the first one. I haven't played the second one.
I played like a demo of it, and I think I might have just been like too ADD for it.
Yeah,
But I like
I'm not.
that.
yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm not prepared to put myself through that again. Like I've done season 1 or whatever. Like definitely like cried like a bitch at one part. Like it's
Really?
there, dude. It's fucked. Like there's literally like, fuck. I guess you guys aren't really planning to play it, but there's like a part like where your friend is like paralyzed, and it like literally it's an option in the game to like give them morphine so they can die, or like just like leave them like paralyzed. Like that's a choice in a video game. I like go and tell my mom, I'm like, this game has fucked me up emotionally.
Yeah, at that point it's like I'm just trying to have fun and shit.
I know, you know what I mean? We're going from mindless Fortnite playing, and that one's like making you like choose whether someone lives or dies. Like you have to talk someone out of like jumping off a building. Like, you know, that game is messed.
You know what I wanted to like so much was that I got the new Kingdom Hearts like a week ago, and I like really wanted to like it. And dude, it just sucks.
That's like here.
I heard, dude. I was like,
divide the world on that because some people like love it. And I remember I got the game when I was like maybe like 10 years old when it first came out, maybe like 9 on PS2, and I fucking couldn't even get past the first shit. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the new one. See the Frozen chick fucking sing "Let It Go" like whatever. And dude, it just sucks. It's just fucking.
I heard it like doesn't make sense, and it all just builds up to the people that aren't even like Disney characters. Like it's like literally not integrated with Disney. It's just like Disney is in there. It's not like linear.
I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool like seeing Donald Duck like get out of like ice monsters, but like I don't know, dude. I'm like not even that big of a Disney fan. Like I like Mulan and shit, like some of the old ones, but like man. I felt cucked. That was the worst $60 I ever fucking spent.
I'm waiting on Anthem, dude. I think Anthem is going to be the game.
I hope that game ends up being really good. And I'm really sad that, like, apparently the beta had, like, some issues. Because, like, I'm actually pretty stoked for that game. Because I'm a huge fan.
Day 1 patches, unfortunately, are not uncommon these days. So, like, even if it's a little broken at the start, you just gotta give it some time.
Well, it's Bioware Edmonton too, so it's like their studio is probably like 15 minutes from me. Like, I probably shouldn't not support their games, especially since Mass Effect's like my favorite series. But
yeah, exactly, because they were the studio that worked on the original trilogy of Mass Effect, and then that team immediately like went into development on Anthem. I think, and then
y'all ever play fucking Knights of the Old Republic back in the day?
Yeah.
I only played like 5 minutes of it over.
That's the reason why I like Mass Effect so much. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, apparently, Respawn, the people who made Apex and Titanfall, are working on like a Star Wars game right now too.
Oh, I bet they'd actually make a good one. Like,
damn, Kuro, yes, Apex is like Fortnite. Kuro, you asked that, but he also asked, Have I seen Skater XL gameplay? And fuck, yes, I have. I just don't have a PC. Otherwise, I would be on that shit every single day.
Yeah.
Like I've had days where I've literally woken up and I've been like, it's a fucking Sunday. I just got brunch. I'm like, I'm about to go buy an Xbox 360 just to go play Skate 3 again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for real.
Fuck, they need to make a Skate 4 or like an actually good Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. Either one.
Yeah, well, no, that Skater XL game's like pretty close to it. It's like really, really accurate. Like
Really?
the reason why Skate was so beloved by the skate community was like a lot of us would just like sit and just like, you know how it is, bro. You sit and like be like, oh, that spot's so tight, like, and it felt so crisp and like the most realistic you can get. But
Yeah.
skateboarding games have always been like, you know, Tony Hawk ones were really, really sick back in the day, but like now, if I'm gonna sit there, I'd want something like pretty accurate, you know?
Yeah, and it also added like that skill level to it because like the Tony Hawk games are almost akin to like fucking beat 'em up games where you're getting multipliers and you're just gaining more points. Where it's like the skate games, you actually have to learn the combos and stuff. Like,
yeah. Those were great games.
EA fired the skate team. I know, dude. I heard. You know what's pissed was like they had like a marketing campaign where they had like Nike SB and like fucking all the skate companies tweet out like hashtag skate 4. Fuck them.
Yeah.
I'll make my own game.
So I was thinking maybe we can start up on some of these questions here through 61. The first question comes from Yari Productions. I think that's the guy. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that sent that like tropical-ish dubstep track.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he has 3 parts. The first question is, would Monsters be considered a political party? Very well could be. It's definitely like a way of life over there. Those guys are fucking tight.
I don't know much about UK politics.
Yeah.
I've never seen them take an open Brexit opinion. Just upset.
So. Number 2 says, who really is Neonix? We've had him on the show before. He's Lee. He's our buddy Lee.
He's the Emperor of Texas.
Yeah. Emperor of Texas. Vice President of Texas. And then the third part is, any underrated VSTs out there for resampling that we should know about? So either of you guys want to touch on that, or?
I'll start. I mean, I think it's kind of broad. Like I love, I've been like resampling a ton lately. Like I definitely was a guy working MIDI most of my production, but I think for me the main things I'm looking for with like resampling, like I'm in Ableton, so the warping alone is already like a huge advantage when it comes to that.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
But lately, like I use, if I'm gonna be resampling stuff, like I'm gonna be crushing it and doing a bunch of shit and then bouncing it out again and maybe doing it like a couple times. So the ones I really like right now, I'll use like the Redux and Ableton. I use Saturn from Fab Filter for like my tonal delay and a lot of distortion shit. So I use that a lot on resampling too to give it like a metallic edge. You know what I mean? And then for actually like triggering the sample itself, like I've used this VST for a long time called Cyclop, and it's like a one-shot synth. But the internal effects, they have like a whole filter system so you can assign the LFOs and shit. So that's pretty cool if you want to like bounce out a sample a couple times and then finish it off with a Cyclop and give it like a, you know, like a low pass or high pass.
I'm gonna actually have to check that one out. Thank you. Yeah, that's cool.
It's only like 3 too.
I do a lot of my resampling just like with Edison. Honestly, I'll like record stuff now a lot to an FL and then run it into Edison. I mean that is just an FL like native plugin, but then I just use like an FX chain on my resample. So it's most of my resampling work doesn't happen in like VST or plugin aside from Edison. But
Uh-huh.
I'm open. I like that question because I'm open to trying new stuff like that.
Yeah, I have used like when I was in Logic, I used Alchemy a few times for resampling and retriggering and stuff like that. But I love resampling, and I almost always work like just with audio because I'm doing like cuts or like stutters and stuff like that, and I just prefer to go hands-on with that kind of stuff most of the time. So like Tanner was saying, like the warping methods in the Ableton and everything are just really sick. So I'll normally just use that, and then you can choose one warping method, and then you hit Command J if you're on a Mac. Excuse me, and it consolidates the file, so you can add a different warping method onto it, and then like mangle it again, and then consolidate, and then mangle and consolidate and stuff like that. So you can get some really weird, fun sounds out of that. All right, so moving on, we have Distort Music Official. He sent in the question, just started using vocodecs a lot more. What are some more unique ways of using vocodecs other than just slapping it on a sound and adjusting knobs until it sounds decent? So that's going to be a question for Scott.
Yeah, I don't even use vocodecs.
So. In all honesty, I just use it as a run-of-the-mill vocoder most of the time to make it sound like really fucking like wet and meaty. But I mean, if you want to use it for like your effects and for vocals, there's a lot of like cool fucking things that you can do. The modular like shifts are really nice for that. Play around with like bandwidth multiplier, and actually you can do a lot of distortion in vocodecs. That's really nice. I don't usually throw it on sounds that aren't like crazy clean already, but like if you want to make some really re-quality sounds, I haven't actually tried to do that. It would be helpful, but usually like I don't use vocodecs for my distortion because I'm doing that in either Serum or in Massive. So I guess that would be what I'd recommend if you want to fucking rip the shit out of something, because I know Sheer Cold by Fizo anonymously used vocodecs on that, and that's how you got that really meaty sound.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Moving on, we have a question from Micah. He said, "You're a big influence on me." I guess that's generally. I guess he's talking to all of us. As I'm trying to get into music production, wondering what DAWs you have worked with, which one is your favorite, and which one do you use now? So I'll start it off by saying I was in Logic for like 7.5 years. And then a couple years ago, I made the switch into Ableton. And I've been loving Ableton. There are a few things here and there that I miss from Logic, but Ableton is just like so much more geared towards like your actual workflow, as opposed to like Logic does have great plugins and a great mixer setup and everything, but it does feel more geared towards mix engineering as opposed to like your actual creative workflow and getting ideas out quickly. So yeah, I would say Ableton has definitely been like a really nice change for me.
Nice.
And that's what I'm working in now. So
I'm FL getting till I die, I guess. But still a huge fan of Ableton.
Yeah.
So.
I'm on Ableton. I actually started out like with just kind of going through the whole cycle. Like I had FL, I went through Logic. When I went to Icon, I put out a song that I did with On Reason. I just I liked seeing all of them back in the day, like especially when I was like super hungry, like learning about all the different DAWs and advantages. But Ableton, gang till I die.
Yeah.
Nice tattoo. Just kidding, but yeah.
Ableton's fuck. Okay, so Parasite asks, what are your thoughts on Chime? Love Chime, super nice dude, crazy music, like super crazy. I I love what he's doing melodically because I think he has that perfect mix of like melodic and heavy music, and not a lot of people are doing that properly. I feel like it sounds forced with a lot of people, whereas his sounds very natural, and it's like great melodics, great heavy bass. You know, like it's not like he doesn't have strong heavy synths and then his melodics are good, or his melodics aren't that good. And
he's very balanced for sure.
Yeah, he's getting the attention he deserves, basically. I think he's awesome.
I would love to hear a track between both of you. I think that'd sound really good.
Yeah, that would be super fun.
They also have favorite Pokemon, and are you coming to LatAm? I don't know what LatAm is. That's gonna be a Google real quick, guys.
Yeah. You let me know what you find there. Favorite Pokemon.
Latin America Airlines. Oh, by coming to Latin America.
Yeah, probably.
Come to Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah,
fuck, bro. I'd love to come to Latin. You know, I was supposed to play in Argentina or Guatemala earlier this year. I butchered. I honestly totally spaced which one it was, but I really want to go down there. Like it's
that'd be amazing.
I would love to get there too.
Who's y'all favorite Pokemon
though? I forget what that like fire tiger one is called.
Incineroar?
No, not
Entei.
No. And Entei, I feel like, is the fox, isn't it? Or
Entei's like a lion almost. That's
no, he's like the little evolved version. He's like orange with black stripes, and then he has like white fluff on him.
Ooh, shit. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it from the original game?
Yeah, here, let's see.
If we're going off original 151, dude, it's a very simple answer, dude. It's fucking Blastoise, Aerodactyl.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
I grew up loving all the legendaries, so like I just wanted like the fucking rare boys.
Arcanine.
Yeah, I remember doing all the shit though on Pokemon Red and like getting the missing no one and like, bro, gang.
Everyone who doesn't know Fallout thinks my tattoo is like a missing Pokemon, like one of those like hidden Pokemon.
Yeah,
but it's actually the Voltec symbol. It's so funny. But my favorite. That's also partially why I got it. I love Pokemon, and it looks like it. But my favorite Pokemon's Rayquaza.
Damn, Algo said shiny Gyarados. Gyarados is slept on too. Gyarados is sick as fuck.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. He's in my team. That's my top three right there: Aerodactyl, Blastoise, and Gyarados.
Shiny Gyarados is sick as fuck because you can just go catch him in a fucking lake. Like I thought I was like so sick as a kid with the red Gyarados.
Shout out Squirtle Squad though.
Shout out Algo too. Algo in the chat gang.
Yeah, Algo is the killer.
Talk shouts at restock the 40-ounce Colt store. That's the plan. We actually we parted ways with our old distribution because we kind of just had it was just too delayed for our Black Friday. They just, you know what I mean. So they were a little overwhelmed. So we're kind of in the process right now of doing all the new designs and finding a new spot. But that's coming.
Oh yeah.
Hydraulic Damnation. What are your thoughts on Ace Aura? I've heard the name. I don't know anything from him.
I really like that dude.
I also just don't listen to bass music as much as I should sometimes. So.
His Berserk remix of AFK and
that's the one I've seen. Yeah,
really stood out to me, and then I started listening to more of his tunes. I thought it was like a really cool style he has going. So
I'm gonna fucking drop him a follow, bro, and scope some shit.
Hell yeah, man. Who is that?
Ace Aura.
Ace
I don't know. From Dallas, dude. He's probably friends with Lee.
Yeah.
If you live in Dallas, you're friends with Lee.
Yeah.
If you go to Dallas, you got to check in with Neonix.
Takis gang.
He's the flight attendant and also the mayor.
That's right.
Did I cop trash to an Iris yet? No, I have not. Are they sick?
I just grabbed Iris actually.
What is Iris?
I've had Trash too though. It's a spectral synth, so like you import like shit or like or just like sound files and everything, and you can do some really crazy like spectral analyzing and like grabbing frequencies and stuff like that and doing some fun stuff with it. But yeah, I did. I got the email from Isotope. I was like, you motherfuckers. I instantly got it. Yeah, I've been playing with it though. It's tough. It's definitely different than any other synth, but I love it. And then Trash is like a staple. I love Trash. I got it the first time that I saw it on sale for $29, which was like a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, I got it the same time as you. You told me.
Yeah, because I said I was like, get this.
It is not trash.
Favorite metal bands? Fuck, dude. I'm like, this is probably a Scott and Colin question. I'm not necessarily the biggest metal fan, but I grew up listening to like Merciful Fate. I used to listen to a lot of like psychedelic rock, like fucking Witch. That's my favorite band of all time, Witch.
Uh-huh.
You guys scope them out. They're kind of slept on, but they have a song called Seer. Dang.
I honestly like had my metal phase when I was like late elementary school into early junior high because I was like learning guitar and stuff, but it never really stuck with me. Like I wish it did more. So I didn't really dive into like anything past the bigger names, but like if I had to say like who was my most influential and probably like favorite would be System of a Down, just because like I learned all of their songs pretty much on guitar, and like it wasn't that hard to learn, but like it was because they were like shorter songs too. It was pretty creative for the time. Like they had songs that were like 1.5 to 2 minutes, which which was really cool. Like I used to hate when songs were super short, but like now like looking back at it objectively, it was super creative of them. Like the content was always about politics too, but put in like a wacky way almost.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, they were a sick band. I would definitely agree on System of a Down.
If you guys want to ever like talk about metal though, dude, Dubloads is the gold mine of information.
Yeah,
that fool like he is like the most talented metal musician, like fucking awesome, and he just like whenever I have a question about that, I pretty much
has he made like metal tracks? Like is he sitting on them? Fuck, I would love to hear that.
He's like in a pretty prominent metal project, a couple of them I think. So
wow.
Also, if you guys haven't heard, I forget the guy's name from System of a Down. It's like Darren something like that. But he has a new band called Scars on Broadway.
Yes,
and they've released some pretty cool shit.
I've been meaning to check more of their stuff out.
Yeah, they're releasing some cool music because he wrote all the music for System of a Down. And
oh damn, I didn't know that.
He was the background singer. Like he was the other vocalist aside from Serge Tankian or however you pronounce his name. But
my favorite metal band is Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, boy. You know what it is.
Are we just going down the line of these questions?
Yeah, that's the idea.
B-Rap has a good one next.
Hit it.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't want to steal from you.
No, go for it.
He says, "Let's talk marketing. What have you guys learned in your years and the importance of marketing and post reach? To go along with that, do you think Excision would be as successful as if he hadn't taken the claim to the whole X logo and headbanger trademark?"
Oh, definitely not.
He also said, "Who would win a drinking contest, me or Scott?" Answer. Actually, Scott goes hard, so maybe not.
That's a tough one. We're gonna have to figure that out sometime. But
on live stream.
let's do it.
To address the first part, though, to talk about marketing. What I've learned in my years about the importance of marketing and post reach. Do you mind if I'll just touch on this and then we'll just go down the line?
Yeah. You're probably the most knowledgeable in terms of marketing.
Well, I mean, all of us have done our own thing. You know, I think when it comes to like from a side of if you're talking as an artist, I think that marketing is like you can have like the dopest music in the world, but if your marketing sucks, no one's gonna like give you the eye.
Yeah.
It even comes down to like for me like proper proper spelling and like posts and like that's at least for me like make it look like you have put some time into it. You know what I mean? And care about posts and shit like that. The importance of post reach too, it really depends. If I'm making a post for a show, that's one thing. If I'm posting my own stuff, like Facebook is just a platform at this point.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like Instagram and Twitter, like those are two platforms that I feel that we have way more strong of a fan base who's constantly checking them. So I think when it comes down to it, when you're rising up, you want to make sure that you have quality content, nothing excessive, and also realize that like marketing is going to be the bridge between you and the fan at the end of the day. If you have a song that you made and it's like, you know what I mean? Like and especially if you're consistently releasing artists, pay your artist to make you the most bomb art you can get. Pay, you know what I mean? Pay for the, for like, you know, the promo package or something like that, if that's something you're trying to do and, you know, get it reposted in a group and you're not a part of it. I think that those are like, you have to play the game right now. You know, you play when it comes to Excision too, for the second part, I think Excision's just an amazing artist. He's been around as you know, as one of the top dons since before he even took on the headbanger thing or whatever you'd want to like imply, you know what I mean? I think the X logo just like goes along with his name, but I think the headbanger thing is not an Excision thing, dude. It's an all of dubstep thing. You know what I mean? He had the song Headbanger, but like, if you look at guys like Riot 10, you know what I mean? Like that song has millions of plays on it. That, you know what I mean? And I fucking love Riot 10. What that's done, dude. Like, so I think that for sure that they've capitalized on it. I think that's smart as fuck on the Excision team, and those guys are really really smart people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
I think the X thing, when you're talking about like the whole. That was a very very big move, and I think it definitely pushed. But he's such a genius, dude. I think that he would be bigger regardless, you know.
So I think you killed it on all your points there. I'm gonna look at this from both like a DJ producer and then also like I'm literally in school for marketing. I'm in like my fucking 4th year. So if I'm like being analytical about marketing, I feel like my school or my actual music has helped me more with my marketing school than my marketing school has helped me with my music. So that doesn't mean marketing isn't important for your music. It's actually so fucking important. And that's why music has helped me more school than school's helped me with music, because I find that marketing is just like a natural thing that some people have and some people don't, and some people understand and some people don't. And I feel like a lot of people, and I had this issue at first, will try things that worked for other people, and they'll see like things that have worked for other people, and that's fine when you see stuff that's like in a general sense just works. But like some people are going to be able to post a tune every week, and then that's gonna help them out more and give them more reach. But some people, like Fizo, for example, doesn't have to do any marketing, and he just has such high quality tracks that he'll just post one track every 3 months and then it'll do really well. So you need to like figure out your audience, figure out what makes you happiest and what you want to convey yourself as, and that's how you should approach marketing, I think, because like honestly, Dack is probably if anyone brought up marketing, I would honestly big you up like immediately, because like I love the 40 ounce cult brand. I love how that is associated even with your name. Dack Janiels works with your clothing line because it's literally Jack Daniels 40 ounce.
Yeah,
you know, like.
But I know you mean that you make a really good point about Fizo, like with the whole kind of. But I feel like that is his marketing. He's exactly. Nailed it down. You know that he's this young, hot, up and come. You know what I mean? Well, at least when he was early on. Now he's like a fucking don. But you know what I mean?
But like that only works for him. Yeah.
You know, exactly. You know what I mean? It could in a rare case here or there, but I feel like for a lot, you know, like exactly like you said, you need to be very case specific.
Mm-hmm. And I just feel like that's why marketing's so hard to tackle, because sometimes it is the day. Like sometimes that day more people are at their computer and the right person sees it and then they share it and then a lot of people see it. So it's not always by chance, but like I think like the most important thing when you approach marketing is you have to do it in a way that suits you and makes you happiest. And like,
yeah. To build on what Scott's saying too, like I do think that there's no one way to market.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everybody's got to have. I don't think they necessarily have to have their own thing so much as it's like not everything is going to work for everybody. Like there's somebody will capitalize on something and like do one thing marketing wise and people will so gravitate towards it. And then other people will be like, oh, maybe I should do that. And then they start doing that and it's like not working for them. And then they get all sour about it. But it's like, it's not about that. Like you got to find your own lane, what works with your quote unquote brand and everything. And
then for me, dude, it was like I've always wanted to niche this. Like I grew up watching the Baker videos. I've always been about like the whole sex, drugs, rock and roll thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and not even like in a trying to like flex the degenerate thing because I don't like want to influence anyone to fucking smoke weed or drink beer if they don't want to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that was something that I saw early on, and I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like that's the shit that I grew up watching. That I thought was fucking tight, whatever."
Yeah.
And that was kind of, you know what I mean. But for someone else, it could be. You almost have to find something that you love, that you want people to associate with. I give you a lot of props for doing it with the Mech-Hop thing.
Thank you.
And doing it with the robots because, like, I was also someone who grew up so influenced by Gundam and anime. And for me, it was just like, you know, this is like the dopest thing ever. Seeing your rise from the OG recoil shit to like kind of cornering in on your own sound and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying, man, and that's
authentic too.
You just got to keep like tackling shit and kind of figure out what means the most to you. And like literally my entire existence, like I've always been like I hold technology in a high regard, and like I've always loved robot stuff. Even when I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't like back in the day, I wasn't like I love robots. It was just like everything that had robots, I ended up loving. So like looking back, I'm like. I just love robots. Like,
yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to build the brand off of that because I have the robotic sound, and it's something that I'm like passionate about. I love technology. I love like forward thinking and shit. That's like, it's almost like mock human almost like, and that's what I feel like dubstep is in a way, and that's what I feel like a lot of my favorite sounds are. Like
that's a good way to describe dubstep too.
Yeah, it's like it's not like this is maybe misquoted, but it's not like real music, you know, like it's just crazy sounds and trying to make them into music. So it's like it's kind of similar to a robot. It's like circuitry that's trying to perform human action and stuff like that. And I think it's a really cool coincidence.
Ratrix made a really good point right here. He said, super solid points. Also, shout out to Ratrix. He's a sick ass producer. But he wrote, it's also not worth throwing hella money into Facebook IG promo if you're not on the level where you're going to see a return, especially if you don't know how to utilize it properly. And I think that's something that people get scared into doing early on is they're like, when I'm talking about like paid promo, I'm talking about someone who's going to write you a bomb press release and a bomb bio if you're early on. Like for me, that wasn't really something that I was really like great at or describing myself. So that was something that I had a talented writer kind of come up with. But when it comes to Facebook and IG, it's really easy to see that promote button and be like, I need to put money into this to get people to see it.
Yeah.
I also feel like organically growing, be nice to the fucking people around you and the people around you support you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. One other thing I wanted to touch on with this is like, I know, Tanner, you touched on this a little bit with what you were saying, but like when it comes to your brand and everything, there are some expenses that you just cannot avoid. A big one of them being like graphic design and stuff like that. I see so many people on my feeds being like, hey, who's got a graphic designer for cheap? Or like, hey, looking for a great, unique graphic, looking to pay dirt cheap. Like it doesn't make sense. Like if you want quality work, you got to be willing to pay for it, or just fucking make your own logo on Microsoft Paint. Like
I was just gonna say, dude, like a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was in college for graphic design for years.
Cool.
My everything done by 40 ounce, with the exception of a couple, for flyers and stuff like that, I pretty much make the designs for. You know what I mean? Yeah. And one thing that I'm proud to say is like, if I back in the day, I'd make my own fucking art if I had to.
Yeah.
Especially if you're putting out stuff for free and you're not focused on the label hard, and Spotify and all this shit, where you can kind of like pull in resources and stuff that might not necessarily follow like a copyright if you're going to sell the song.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of resources online, dude. Like, literally, you can set on Photoshop, get a dope font, or even use your logo for your artist thing, and make like a really nice little template for all your singles coming out. It's better than hitting up someone who does it for a living and ask him to do it for lower than they want, because they're not going to give you a solid product.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that like alludes also to like I agree with everything you said about Excision, but like I think like the question where he said the headbanger part made us like or made me overlook most of the question, and what I came to the conclusion of is the reason why he's been so successful is yes, he was a Don, he established himself, etc. But part of what made him so successful is his branding, like his like everything that like his artwork like on Rodden was really well done. They had a lot of really nice stuff, and then you go to his shows and his visuals match his branding, and his visuals are extremely well done, and it shows that even from like a starting level to like a top of the industry level, you should care about how you're displaying yourself, and you yeah, it doesn't have to mean having $1 million visuals at a show, because you're not going to be able to start out doing that. But that's
I completely agree. That's pretty much what I was saying. I don't think that it's necessarily the fact that he nailed the X or the headbanger market.
No.
I think it's combined with the fact that he had his feet in the ground, you know what I mean, and was killing it for such a long time. Pioneer of the genre, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you know what I mean, had this vision for the visuals and stuff like that that really, really matched what he was trying to do. I mean, I give the dude so much props. I think he's so fucking great.
Of course.
You know?
I think it just goes without saying that like if you're gonna keep going and you're gonna keep expanding your fan base and you're gonna have bigger like goals, etc. Like he just started one of the biggest festivals now, you know, and like that's because like he almost had a festival style production stage already. So he looked at what was working for him and what he was good at, and then applied it to something else. So I think that's something we should all look at doing. Like you're a graphic designer, you start doing graphics, stuff like that. Like you apply all your skills, right?
Well, I sucked at graphic design too. That's the other thing. It's like I wasn't like I thought I would have like put myself to do this as a profession, because I'm not a great drawer. That's not really my passion. I went there literally because it was kind of like an out. I was editing video and doing Photoshop shit when I was in high school, so it's like fuck it, you know. But for a lot of other people, you know what I mean. You might find that you have way better skill than me, dude. I'm like on the lowest tier of of designing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
I've done my own artwork a few times too, and like even just mocking up like artwork for upcoming dates that I have, like shows and everything and stuff like that. Like sometimes it is worth just like. I think it's also important from the standpoint of knowing what you like design-wise and everything. Just like playing around in Photoshop or something like that can really get you like a clear idea of what you might want to direct a really good designer to do for you and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that kind of nails that question.
Hell yeah. Well, no, it's a very interesting topic too. Like when it comes to, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So let's see.
Yeah, so thank you for the question there. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on here? Oof D'Escape. Yeah, so this is from John Darkscape. He said tips for entering a project. In other words, when you're starting a new track, what are some things to keep in mind going into a new one, or prior moods, etc., or any tips in general to spark creativity? I don't know why spark creativity, struggling like this. Well, I think what it is like a lot of the times I think people are so focused on the idea of opening up a project and then just writing a track, and like for me, there has to be something in my head going on already for me to open up a blank project file and start going in. Like, I never just open up and I'm like, I need to write a new project right now. Like, I'll be working on some of the projects I have or something, or even just like practicing keyboard or something like that, or open up a project and start messing with sound design. And 9 times out of 10 when I'm working on a sound, I'm like, I think it would sound cool like this. And then I'll start patterning it out. And then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll add something like this here and then start building a track, you know, like it's never like I open the project and I'm like, here we go. You know, like, it just doesn't work like that for me.
I almost wish I was that way, but like it just doesn't. It's hard to be structural like that. I just kind of open it and play it by ear, or by ear. I said by ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that when I start one, it's like I like don't really write drops before I write intros. I'll have like 10 intros before I start making start writing drops for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's so funny. I'm the opposite, dude.
Dude, and most people are. Dude. I think for me, it's like that. I know the vibe going in. Then I start like my wheels start churning. Like, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is how I'm gonna write the drop. But for example, I just wrote one of my favorite tunes I started recently, and I started with a drop on that first. It really all depends on the case. But to answer your question, when you're saying what are some things to keep in mind when you're going into a new boy or prior moods, I always try to have like a little bit of a vision in the back of my head or a vibe. Like I'm starting an intro and it's like super spacey. For me, it's like I'm almost like visualizing like Ghost in the Shell kind of shit. You know what I mean? But if it's something that's a little bit more like aggressive and like more hip hoppy, trappy, it's something where I'm like kind of drawing influence more from like listening to like Young Thug and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think finding a happy medium between the two of them is really, really good. And also not sitting there and being like, I need to come up with a song this second. Right. You might have a session where you sit down and make like 3 fucking patches and write a drum line, or, you know, a kick and snare line that you really like. The next time you sit down, you might sit down and come up with the sounds that fill it out, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would just, honestly, if you're having that much, no problem. If you're having that much trouble, like, starting something, I would really kind of go back to your roots and, like, listen to stuff that inspires you and think of, like, a way to capture the essence of what you're really into, like, what you're listening to recently, like, try and do something in the same light, but like put your own spin on it, kind of like I said, just kind of taking the vibe from something and being like, I want to make something similar to this or something and start out like that. But otherwise, like I'm just thinking about music like all day. So like I'll think of something that works in my head and like keep going over it in my head. And then once it gets to a point where I'm like sometimes it just gets to the point where I'm like, all right, time to write this out, you know? And other times it's like, I don't really think this will work, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's important to get yourself in that mindset too, like kind of a mix of what you're saying. Like, I'd never go in and be like, this is what I have to make, but a lot of the time I will be like, I don't know, I'll be playing a video game or I'll be listening to Recoil or something, and I'll be like, I want to make fucking robotic shit. Like, then that's the mindset I go in, and it sucks because sometimes you can't, like, it makes sense, but you can't just force that. Like, I can't just start that out of thin air, but some days it does work. Sometimes if you're listening to like bumping rap music, then I can just hop on and make like a super sick intro because I was just listening to Young Thug or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's, you gather inspiration from like everything as long as you try and find it, you know, like anything you enjoy, like Tanner and I were talking about, like Gundam and everything. Like there's sometimes things that I see like stylistically will inspire a certain mindset or a certain like
for sure
in me that I'll translate to music later, like my depiction of sonically what that visual would be, you know, like
for me, I'll like watch like a fucked up horror movie too, and I'm like, sick, dude, I'm hyped. I want to make like and you know what I mean? I feel you exactly on that. It's a weird feeling to get. It's almost like synesthesia. I don't know if you've heard of that before, where people kind of like, they feel colors and shit like that, or they hear colors.
Yeah, synesthesia, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, if I'm sitting watching like a crazy movie or something like that, and I'll sit there, the gears start turning, I'm like, shit, dude, I want to make this intro and have like a fucking stab sound right with that, right on the second hit of the drop or some shit like that. So
yeah, that's the that's another thing. Like I don't know. That's a reason why I liked games like Halo and games like Titanfall and everything, because like the futuristic aspect and like the robotic armor and stuff like that, and the robots you can play as in Titanfall and stuff like that. It just like something about it just sparks me. Like I love it.
Video games are a great way to do it too. If you ever like don't want to feel like you're being unproductive, just sample hunt in video games.
Yeah.
Like I'll find like little gold mines. There's a game I play called Killing Floor. It's like a zombie game.
Yeah.
It has like the best vocal samples in it, and that plays this heavy metal music in the background the whole time when you're playing it. Like, shit, I'll play that for an hour real quick and then come back and have like 3 different ideas on what to do. You know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's the best thing, man. Like I think I'm not one to tell you like how your creativity should go, but like I'm definitely an advocate for like trying to find inspiration in everything and like artistic value in a lot of things. Like there's plenty of music that I wouldn't listen to on my own time, but I can be like, oh, this is sick. Like I like what they're doing here and stuff like that. Or even like artwork. It's not like something I would hang up in my house and like immediately present, but I'm like, oh, I like this. Like this is cool in its own way, you know? And like just gather inspiration. Like you can be just as inspired from things that you don't like and you don't want to do than you are from things that you do want to do. Like
exactly.
If you hear a song and you're like, man, I really don't like that they did this, like make it a point not to do that in your own music and like find a way around that or something, you know, like it's all about your mindset. You just can't be drilling yourself into the ground and being like, I have to write a music right now. Or like that's I don't think that's the way to go about it.
Oh yeah. I couldn't agree more with that
too.
What was that? Sorry.
Oh no, I was saying I think there's two more questions too right here at the bottom before we get to the links.
Yeah. Why don't you hit one then, Tanner?
It said, "Has Apex Legends interfered producing time at all?" I'm just gonna take it generally and be like, yo, has video games interfere with producing time at all? I think that's just a balance you have to find in between yourself. Yeah. Like I reward myself with playing video games. It's like, oh shit, I've done what I needed to do for today, or what I felt like I wanted to do for today. Let's do below. Go on.
Uber in the chat. Uber in the chat. It is time for a delicious snack.
Uber is a delicious snack, dude. If you guys are hungry, dude, listen to some fucking Oob.
But yeah, to build off of what Tanner was saying, Dack, Janiels, I definitely think it is about finding the balance and like what works for you. I know right now I'm playing a lot less video games than I used to. Like I kind of like crack down on myself because like I'm definitely that kind of way. Like I think it's really good for my anxiety sometimes to just like get lost in a video game for hours. But like I find that music does the same thing for me. So I'm trying not to get too caught up in video games right now, and I'm trying to just put a lot of that energy towards music until it's like nighttime and I'm like burnt out, like my ear.
Yeah, or at least like recognize when your body is you're fit and you're like, I should be doing some shit, but also don't like feel obligated to sit there and just force shit out, because sometimes your bodies need to break and you have some spare hours. It's like, dude, you know what I mean? Like you need that, you know?
Yeah, and I think
Uber. I think, like you said, I think a lot of newer video games just suck too. I 100% agree.
True, except for Smash Bros. If you guys ever want to like feel horrible about yourself, play Uber and Super Smash Bros. Because man is God.
Yeah,
even though I feel like I've skilled up and I could probably take him. So let's.
I just think it's like also like I've learned to understand how I work, as you're kind of saying, and like. Games like Witcher 3, I own it, and I still haven't played it because I know I'm going to love it, but I know I'm going to fucking pour every single hour into it in the upcoming week, and, like, I know that will actually hurt my producing, so you need to, like, know your time schedule, and that's why I'm actually playing Apex Legends now, and it's the opposite for me because, like, and why other producers could get into Fortnite unless you're, like, super obsessed with it. I'm looking at you, Tanner, but it's like
I believe there's worse people than me.
You can jump into the game and then like go produce after, but there's some games like I know I can't do that. I need to set a day aside to play this video game.
That's me. That was me on Resident Evil. It's like I'm trying to commit my full attention, and I also like use that, bro, because I was like, I'm gonna find some of the fire samples from this shit, and I want to use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This shit just came out. It's like relevant, so it's all about balance, boys.
It's super marketing hype.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I justify it to myself. I'm like, oh, sample hunting.
I'm 30% marketing, 30% dubstep, 30% video games.
It's cerebral.
30, I don't know why I said 30%. I should have said 31. I'm leaving the stream now.
Man, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
On the marketing section right there.
Yeah. That's
so
the
for the
ultimate no.
The last one we had was from Cerebral, and it was three-way when, in parentheses, collab. I don't know what the fuck you were thinking.
Yo, actually, I want to take a moment to shout out Cerebral. That's SYREBRAL. He literally, back in the day, like, ignited a fire in me. This dude is so good at producing and has such a unique sound and does really cool neuro stuff. And he was one of those people that put such a huge emphasis on drums that made me start doing that. Like, if I could just tell you how much I've gained inspiration-wise from this dude and just talking to him back in the day. No, I know. I'm fucking.
I heard his shit too. It's sick.
I have to like.
Yeah,
I can just tell you like the amount of time that like he would send me a song and I would just sit there listening to it and I'd be like, oh my god, like, he also inspired me to do like the deeper basses and then accentuate with like higher pitch basses and stuff like that. Like that was like huge inspiration from him. He's just incredible. Seriously.
Yeah, he's amazing. And I didn't even realize at first that it was the Cerebral.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I should have specified on the spelling. I recognize it. Real quick, before we move into his, Ratrix made a good point. He said, how often do you have to clear your video game samples? I ain't never cleared shit before.
Yeah, fuck that.
So like, I'm a firm believer if I adjust it enough that it's not the same thing and it's like not necessarily attainable in like two short steps, like for sure, let's get it. But I also like not like out here using like if I were to use a sample, a good example that I do is like I use a lot of the Mortal Kombat samples and a lot of like the stabs and slashes and shit. I'm also pitching them up, putting effects on them. You know what I mean? Doing a lot.
I'm also pitching them up 2 cents.
I'm also pitching them up 2 centimeters and putting an EQ on them, so it's all good to go. No, but like in actuality, like I'll pitch them up. I'll maybe have like a frequency shifter doing some cool move on them. Those are ones that I feel like are a great example of like I feel no fucking obligation to have to like clear that. I'm manipulating it enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm also not sitting there and using like a 16 bar loop from
background noise.
Yeah. But for Cerebral, yeah, we need the all three-way collab. That'll be sick. We should just do it and call it fucking Mech Boys.
Yeah, for real.
That'd be sick. Okay.
There's also a question that came in today from Darkscape again, and he said he just switched to Ableton, and he said, I've noticed issues bringing out my low end, producing the same way I did in FL. Any tips for boosting lows without distorting the dick out of it? So basically this is going to be all coming down to your engineering. Like I do think that every single DAW has like its own kind of like space that you have to deal with and its own little bit of coloration maybe and stuff like that. And also like it'll come down to the stock effects that you use within the program and how colored they are and stuff like that. But basically it's just going to come down to your like mix down. Like at the end of the day, how loud your sub is just contextual, and how loud your low end elements, it's completely contextual.
Exactly.
So, like if you have your like treble way the fuck up and then you have like your kick and your sub low and everything, like that can be an issue right there. Or if your kick is like super loud compared to like your synths and everything, and then you're trying to lay your sub in on top of that and you're trying to get the sub to pump as hard as the kick, then you're going to bring the sub up way loud too, and it's going to start drowning out all your treble elements. So like, you just got to find your right balance and everything, and make sure that you're not slamming your treble too hard, or your treble isn't too like piercing and stuff like that. Like, if there's not too much bite on it, then you can push your treble elements a little higher and everything.
I think the easiest rule, like, that I learned when I was 18, I think it was Megalodon, like, just someone like that, was just like, mix your sub super loud and then make everything else quiet if you want your sub, if your sub is giving you issues.
And then go down from there on it.
Yeah, and like, I mean, that's just like process of elimination. Like, if it's causing you that much issue, I would suggest just like making your sub pop hard and then bring everything else back up. Because I do definitely find that kicks that can be it a lot of the time back in the day when I have my muddy mixes.
It is your side chains, if you know what I mean, if it's like a little bit delayed coming out, if it has a release on it, it'll be taking some of the energy out of the sub. I just fucking got Volume Shaper. I don't know why I didn't have it for this longest.
I still don't have it. I'm still using the stock compressor and Ableton to do my side chaining.
Yeah, I hooked it, dude. I was like, I'm gonna get this and Ozone and BitSpeak this week.
Yeah, I love Ozone, honestly. In Logic, I didn't use it as much, but now, like, I think I got like Ozone 8 like right before I made the switch to Ableton. So.
Hell yeah.
Uber says have the sub hit at 0 and basses hit at -3, but compress and distort so the basses fit contextually.
I mix quiet, but I know what you mean, right? Like that. You want to have the sub, if you have the sub sitting above and then you mix the basses up into them contextually. That's a good way to put it. That's a really, really good way to get them balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does come down to the way you produce too. Like, a lot of people have like a standard for mixing that like will definitely not work for me. Like, I've tried things that other people do, but it doesn't work for me because I'm such a distortion heavy producer. You know, you get different harmonics and different upper frequencies and stuff like that that can get a little cluttered. So like, I have to do things a little differently, generally speaking, than like a lot of people that I see making dubstep. You know, like, some people slam like 3 OTTs and 2 saturators on one bass line, and like, mine's already coming out of the synth so distorted that I just can't.
Yeah. All about balance. And like, I think it's also training your ears on how to mix down your music. I think training your ears is something that's often not
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah.
But you really almost have to like take every little thing into account and be like, okay, listen, I'm going to listen to 10 songs, especially on your monitor setup, depending on how it is, if you're in headphones, whatever, and then start to build your mix downs around that and kind of come up with a goal end in mind when you're making a mix down, not just twiddling things until they sound right, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that's a never-ending process too. I think the taste is going to change as an engineer, and also the industry norm is always going to be changing. And then on top of that, like, you're going to find like methods that work for you that might not even work for other people and stuff like that. But it's definitely worth like just getting an overall footing on your engineering, like do some research into what techniques people use. And like, there's going to be a bunch of different options. Like, everybody's going to tell you something different. Everybody's going to tell you different compressor time.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to tell you limit or soft clip and stuff like that, and you got to find your right mixture and your right path when you're doing all that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, is that you figure out what works for which way and which elements you want to use together and everything, and that's, in my opinion, how you really start formulating your own sound.
Once you formulate your own workflow, it's pretty easy from there, honestly. Like, you find what works best for you, and I think that was more important into me finding my sound than anything. Now that you say that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that kind of covers everything. We have we have a music submission that go ahead and get this link for.
Get it linked up.
Linked up. Okay, so this comes from Nostalgics. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen for you guys.
My body is ready.
All right, let's check it out.
How do you feel now? You can't. We can't move. You're paralyzed. Just like I did when you did nothing. I did nothing. Now, sink into the floor. Wait. Sink. Sink into the floor.
So off the bat, I'm just going to say that does sound very Dack Janiels inspired, if you ask me.
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the track. I think you've got a really good idea of like what you're doing in your style. A couple things I would recommend off the bat would be I think your drums are a little loud right now, or rather maybe your mid range is a little low. Because I feel like the sweeps and everything in there, all the effects that you have going on are kind of taking away from the basses as well. But I also feel like the basses are a little bit over compressed, like they're a little flat. And I think if they have more room to breathe and move and like give you that movement, because I think you have great modulation on the basses, I think they would benefit from a little less compression so you could really feel the movement as opposed to just kind of hear it flat, you know. But great job overall. I think the intro, you nailed the vibe, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it's sick as fuck. I think that I couldn't really hear the mix down as well because it was playing through audio through the microphone. But yeah, I mean, I think that the flow on it was super there. I think that there could be a little more diversity on the turnarounds. But other than that.
I agree with Ratrix's comment. Load the lower end on the snare. Like, I mean, I think the drums were just too loud, so that's why that well, they were, not just that I think that, but that might be also why I immediately say the lower end. But if you are gonna keep that, I would take down the release on that snare a little bit. I'm thinking like an Seal tape snare. Yeah. I can even do like a knock. If you want to do that, you could try that out. Otherwise, I would EQ it a little better. But yeah, I like the idea a lot. It's cool. Definitely, I thought it sounded a little bit like Dack. A little bit.
Yeah.
At the beginning opening section. No, it can be the real Dack.
Say it like it's a fucking bad.
No,
thing.
it's a beautiful thing.
I'm fucking.
God, I wish that were me.
We got something from Uber right here.
Ooh.
Super cool. It's a short little whippy right there from the boy Uber.
I need that one, Maxwell.
Yeah, please.
That is hot.
Awesome. I love all his music.
Yeah, fucking, that was a thick boy.
Oh, yeah. He is that thick boy.
My piano is Ruby hard right now in that track.
All right, so we have one from Foxchild here. Let's check that out. It's a loud boy.
Sometimes I suspect I'm not who I think I am. Like maybe I died a long time ago and somebody took my brain and stuck it in this body. Maybe there never was a real me in the first place and I'm completely...
Very cool. Sorry to cut that short. We just have a couple more to get through before we end the stream, and it's already over an hour. But I really like it. I think it does need a little bit of cleaning up, as you said in the chat there. But it's just a little slammed right now. That's all. I
think the slam is the one thing that's holding the power back behind the more guttural synths.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to have that. I think that one that hits on the drop that's like doo doo needs to be down, and the ones that are more thick need to come out more and bring out the high end on them too.
It's really cool sound design, though. I really
for sure
sound design, and I think the intro melody was great. But yeah, and especially in the intro, I feel like you could hear the pumping of the limiter a little bit, and it was just a little bit restricted. So like your drums weren't getting as much bottom end as they could, but definitely a really cool track. I like it.
Yeah, I really like the sound of the hitting synth in particular. So yeah, once you bring all the synths up, that's going to be a really solid track. So definitely send me that when you're more far along. I'd love to hear the final.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is from Air Bear. Shout out Air Bear, longtime supporter, cool guy.
Yeah,
I'm stoked. Oh yeah, I've heard of Air Bear.
Let's check it. That B section right there kind of reminds me of Benga a little bit, almost. It's almost like an old school Benga vibe.
It's really
I really like that.
I dig that. I think the chord synth has to come down a little bit just so you can hear that sound design afterwards. But I think it's a really cool track. I think all the synths can maybe be turned down a little bit so you get a little more emphasis on the sub bass and the drums, which I think is a really big part of that, like deep sound. But really, really good so far.
It's mainly all X related. Yeah, I would say, but the idea is really sick.
Yeah. And then we have our last submission from the boy, the kid, Darkscape.
Man.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah, fucking banger. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I think you got it down.
It's got
Got
that Mastodon vibe. It's got the fucking all kinds of vibes going on.
Yeah, yeah, super sick, man. Like, great sound design. Yeah, I think the mix sounds pretty damn good. Like, I don't think you're like way off or anything. You know, like, I really like it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll play it. All right, guys. So I think that's gonna about wrap it up for the stream. Your boys got to eat dinner and got some things to do. Thank you guys so much for joining in. It's been an awesome episode. Thanks. Special shout out to the boy Dack Janiels.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Always a pleasure. Yeah.
I love y'all.
Be looking out for the recoil on 40-ounce Colt coming up.
Yeah, likewise for me.
Yeah.
Fucking get it.
All right, guys. Episode 57 signing out. Thanks for coming along. Peace.
Love y'all.
Love you.